like, it's the collaboration, right? Like, again, these groups just struggle to do it. I mean, I think we, like, intuitively, everything you're saying is like, well, yeah, of course, like we should be looking at like top of funnel stuff, like, and what's happening there. And then like, is it converting, and then calibrating and aligning everyone. Like, what have you seen from other organizations, you know, in the Valley and elsewhere? Like, what do you, like, why isn't it happening? Like what, and maybe even some of the roadblocks that you all face that, and kind of how you got over those.
I think it depends on the type of company. For the company that I'm at right now, is we're creating a category which has its own set of challenges. So it's not like we have a ton of people that demand what we're doing right now. It's like we have to be very targeted with the people that we're going after, because we have to still educate.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think that has its own set of challenges, and you really have to work with marketing and test messaging and talk to sales and try to understand like what's sticking with them. And I think for sales development, that's the number one place where you can test things and see if they're working, and then feed that back into marketing. I think a lot of, and sometimes it depends on where the SDR teams sit. But I do think there's a lot of sales development teams out there that are not, they don't have comp plans that actually drive the behavior that the business needs.
Right.
It's really just churning through the demand gen engine, and not necessarily looking at the, really trying to understand how should we actually focus on this stuff? So there's, we have a lot of like managers and specialists that come inbound, but we don't necessarily want to be talking to those people because they can't really make anything happen.
Yeah.
So to traditional demand gen, if we're not booking meetings and that there's not a lot of conversion there, that's where there can sometimes be some tension.
Right.
But it's really trying to understand, like, how can we take learnings and conversations with those people and then go up higher into that account and then use whatever information that we have to go get the high meeting.
Are you ignoring those people? You know, I've talked to some leaders who say when people come inbound, what they'll do then is maybe even kick off other plays. So if the people come inbound, are you just putting them, and they fit kind of that criteria, are you putting them through like a further nurture drip? Are you following up with them? And again, not kind of MQL or SQLing them and then like following up to try to generate those meetings? Or how are you treating those people? Because I think it's something that I hear all the time, Nicolette, is like most of our inbound leads, especially the people that download ebooks and interact, it's manager, it's people who are on either sent on a goose chase, or like, I'm just a random dude who's interested in the topic. So like, how do you handle those low quality leads? And then I want you to get back into it, but I do want to talk about that, because I think a lot of marketing and SDR teams are trying to they all know they should do it or not do it, but I don't know if there's a good formula.
It probably depends on the product and service you also provide. I know that there's some more transactional things that maybe somebody that's lower level can buy, but it again, I think that it's every sales leader's thing is like, you have to get to the buyer, you have to get to that above the line person, or else, you know, you may not really have a champion or somebody that can actually mobilize and make something happen. So we've definitely instilled a little bit more lead scoring and the follow-up or accountability for actually booking meetings or the conversions on those people is not really what we look at. Really what we're looking at is we're looking at engagements and accounts more than we're looking at the leads that we're generating. And again, that's because we're very account-based.
Yep.
But yeah, SDRs are probably, if they are taking those, if they are reaching out to those people, they're the ones that are taking those first calls.
Got it.
And just trying to get information. And there's certain campaigns that, you know, an opened email, that's just an opened email. We're probably not going to contact that person. I think it's just constant feedback with the marketing team on the types of engagements that we want to follow up with those people, but mainly it's information gathering and then using that to understand a little bit more about the account and then going very high and then obviously get pushed down.